I think I'm live now. I just need to check once. Uh, yeah, I think it's working. So let me put this link of the share in Twitter as well. On Twitter. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Live on YouTube, working on this is going to be an interesting and long stream. I see, do we have someone join? Perfect. So with that out of the way, hi everyone. Today is the second stream that I'm doing for Shipaton and working on the Zenther app, and I just sent a new build. I think this is the first time that I have a big difference in the dates that I'm shipping. So if you can see, I have July 28 like continuous builds, then July 29, then July 30 there was one stream, two on 31st, one on 1st, and then nothing on 2nd, and then I sent one today morning. So I was working on a new kind of updating all the bug fixes, so I wanted it to be much more stable. And I also have a new widget which for macros, which is pretty nice. So if I can just go back on the screen and show you how it looks like, because for some reason, which is some I should be proud of, the widgets or not the widgets, the Swift macros are actually working, and I'm pretty happy on that. And yes, it's working, so it's much more easier to iterate on them. So let's talk about what I have for today. It's going to be a long stream. I hope it would be a long one, and the idea is that I will work on the app, on the especially on the things that I do not like, or I already have my iPhone mirroring here. So the biggest thing that I realized working on this app is that I have kind of lost momentum as I added more features, like so many features, and I am kind of at a point where I want to make it more frictionless, and I know how to do that. So but I'm kind of avoiding it. And there's this line that I read on Instagram. I've been wasting a lot of time brain rotting on Instagram. There was this Instagram reel that was something along the lines that when the road gets bumpy, you do not leave your bike. You hold the handles much with more firmer. So even though it's day 3 of working on Shipaton last year, on day 3 I have actually no idea. It was so basic. The app at that time was so basic, so I just do not want to compare it to the last year's journey. But this year I have a fully working app in itself, like actual working app. Everything is, it's much more optimal. All the log foods and favorites, everything is working. Like you can see, I did that tunakatsu ramen as well. So I have to work on updating the names, because I remember updating this name. And one feature I think I did was to make sure that all the entries, even when I was updating the entry, it would still say food entry, which is a very bad experience. So now it will actually say Tonakatsu Ramen, and that is a feature that I worked on recently. And as I can see on the screen, I'm using the dots to represent the lunch, dinner, or snacks, and I feel like there can be a better way that I can do that. So let's just start working on that itself. So I do not remember where that code is, so I will just ask. I'm not sure how I want to represent that, so let's ask Alex. This is a AI tool that I use. It's a sidebar for working with Xcode, and uh, in the recent entries, so this is the prompt that I'm typing, because you will see my head somewhere there. Uh, you wouldn't find what I'm writing. I'm laughing because I just read Yash comment that the Insta brain rot is his fault, and I agree. In the recent entries that we have dots for to represent the dinner, snack, and lunch, I and breakfast. That is not optimal in terms for color blind people. So what can we do instead? Like, can we get the some symbols there or something like that? Because I already see that we mention the dinner, snack, and lunch in the sub headline. Is the dot necessary? And I feel like this is the old build, because in the latest build, one of the feedback I got was because this whole itself is tappable, and then this there is the favorite button, which kind of interface. So I took the favorite button out of uh, the whole view and have it on this side. I wanted it to be as a menu, but I decided not to do that, because, as I mentioned, I want it to be as frictionless as possible, and having that trailing favorite button will be a one less step will be a one less step compared to clicking on it, holding and tapping on it, and having it in the menu itself. So let's say what so it says that we will go with having images for each meal type dot icon, and that makes sense, and it keeps the color coding, but it is now supplemented by the icon shape, which makes it more accessible, and I agree. I'm not a huge fan of color coding in the first place. That's something, it makes the app more colorful, and I don't like that. I just like this blue vibes that I get from the app itself. And let's see, can we get rid of the color coding? And in the meanwhile, I will want to work on other parts of the app. So one thing that I really have to nail down is that the part on logging food, especially on manual food entry. I had I woke up around 2 1 a.m. and I decided to just go and because I'm in Bangkok, and there's this infamous sandwich, cheese sandwich, or cheese toasts, and I really wanted to have them, so I just went there for the thrill of it, and I had them, and they were so good. But I am kind of not kind of I am scared understanding how much calories that it had. Let's say if I can just use Alex for that as well. So I had the cheese sandwich. And so this is a feature that I want directly in my app itself. So when I have the log food screen, there should be a way that there should be a small button that says analyze with AI, and it will automatically fill the calories, protein, carbs, and fat based on what serving and food name I gave. That would be much easier. And even for the food name, there should be a mic button here that I directly reuse the code for the speech analyzer API, or directly use the NS speech analyzer. Or I think the I in my head I feel the people are smart enough to use the bottom right dictation icon itself. And so one good question that Yash has asked: what happens if you have the differentiation without colors option enabled? I have no idea. I have not tried it. I'm not sure if you can do that in the SwiftUI previews itself. Can you? Maybe if I'm on the main screen. So let's see which screen this was. So one thing that I am proud of is having SwiftUI previews on almost all screens, which has a lot of this is a huge view, which is a lot of hashtag previews. So now you can see that I have the icons without the colors, and it would directly use the colors. And I will just mention that the sun dot field is not available in SF symbols for breakfast. This is a problem that I have been facing for a long time, but I ignored it. But now that it is directly onto my face, I have to fix it. So you do not have you only have color schemes and environment and the dynamic type. I can try it out on the phone and see how that works. So let's just go and try that. If I go to settings and under accessibility, where is it? There is motion read capture. I forgot which one was it differentiate, and I don't think the search works. If you have used iPhone, oh, it works. No, accessibility keyboard typing, no. Differentiate without color. So now I turned it on, so it replaces. So for I will just share my screen, connect my phone. So it replaces user interface items that rely solely on color to convey information with alternatives. So I assume that there is a, if I try to code it somewhere. So if I am on this screen, there should be an environment value. If I just search color, this one, accessibility differentiate without color, and then you can check whether the system preferences for differentiate without color is enabled. If it is enabled, then it will use you can have it use a different view. Otherwise you can just use the colors directly if you want. Custom, you can force it to use SwiftUI environment. Just use different SFS symbols. Yeah, this is what I meant, like having the, like you can see for breakfast now it has this sunrise one, lunch has a normal sun, snack is a leaf, I don't know why, and then dinner is a normal one. And it also depends on what you call dinner or lunch. I don't think because this is the standard convention, so it's okay to use the symbols, and the it actually looks much nicer. And now that I'm seeing it, I do not like how in the previews, the last one medium apple plus 1 tablespoon, it goes into the next line. And I would prefer to limit it to one line itself. So let's see where we have this unit, and I think I have to limit it here itself. Or is it a different one? So let's see where we have the, we'll close this window and make it much more to the right. Nutrition information. So this one should be the recent entry view, and then you have the dot, the quantity text, the food name. There's already one line limit, but I will put it on here as well. Can I put it directly on it so I have a limit on each of the lines? Yeah, this is something that I would prefer, because if you actually has to see it, then you can directly click on it and see if that works or not. I feel like we don't need a favorite button in every I have no idea why the AC turned on even though I had it turned off, and I hope it does not make a lot of noise. So this is a design question, because you do not need a favorite button on each of them, and I agree, and it kinds of look odd to have that, but I'm not sure if the users are smart enough to know how to use the context menu. Is there any accessibility option or options that I can give here? So can you uh, please just make the favorite button from outside of the view to have it as a swipeable action on the left. And do we support swipeable actions? Because I'm not sure if I'm supporting it. I don't think I'm supporting it. I do remember adding the swipeable action somewhere in the code base, but where? Oh, it says that I already have the swipe actions implemented. So this was the place where I have it. So yeah, it definitely makes sense to have it there. So right now I have delete on the trailing edge and edit on the leading edge. Let me move the favorite button to the leading action alongside the edit button, so that gives you much more space as you mentioned. And one thing I don't like about Alex is that it would uh, redo the manual lines I did, because it does not directly uh, what is the word, directly index the file. So for some reason it thinks that okay, what changes I made it, so it's like if you have seen the meme our code base, so this is how it treats it. So now it is his or its code base. So and does the swipeable action not work here? Let me just try to build it on my phone itself and see if that works. So I feel like I have wasted enough time on this view and we need to move on a bit. And uh, I'm much more proud of what I have now, so that's a very good thing. So let's just commit this and move on to the second thing. So I need to log the foods that I ate, and as I was asking Alex, how much macros is in the infamous. I had a ham triple cheese sandwich in 7-Eleven Bangkok, and I hope it does the internet search. Please search on internet. So it says unable to. So this is a problem. I have no idea why this problem occurs, but the solution to this is just cleaning the build folder and building the project again. It is as simple as that. Yeah. And the build size has increased thanks to having MLX in my folder. You can see MLX Swift, and I really have to work on the implementation of MLX, because I have been doing a lot of the foundation model one, and I do not have a parity with them, which is a bad sign of having not a good integration. So based on my research, here are the approximate macros for the 7-Eleven Bangkok ham triple cheese. I usually take for your nutrition tracking app, I would recommend using these average values. I usually try not to use average values and uh, take the highest values, so it's much nicer. So let me see the comment sections. I don't think I have more. Yeah. So while I wait for it to build, so this is the values, and I also had a cheese sausage sandwich from 7-Eleven, and then it can tell me the values for it as well. So in the meanwhile, we have the recent entries. The view looks good enough. If I try to scroll, I'm not sure if this padding is something that is across the app. This looks more than 16 to me, the default one. Damn, these sandwiches has. So just to be sure, are we talking about one whole sandwich? Because one sandwich has a triangular piece. One about one whole sandwich, or two triangular pieces. Yeah, Bangkok macros go crazy, man. This, if I'm doing 400 calories, So I have to skip the breakfast because I already had 800 calories, and the protein intake is good enough, so I'm happy with that. But look at the fat, it's like 20 and 23 directly, so that's half of the day's fat already done. uh, I know what I was going into, but still. And then what else? So I have to, I'm thinking of doing something new, so I'm going to this new running club, which happens every Sunday. It is 4 a.m. and it starts around 7:15, but it is a bit far away, and there's, I can do a Grab there, which is their Uber service that takes me there in 10 minutes, or I can just walk for 30 minutes, which is something that I would prefer doing in the morning because that's the only time the weather is nicer here. Okay, so it says there's a Thai open food facts entry that shows the triangle sandwich is like 200 calories. Okay, so the whole thing that I had, a whole sandwich, is 400 calories. So that's what I had. Yeah, so my guess is the full sandwich is around 400, not 600, man. 600 is too much. So the build succeeded. The app, did it launch? Hmm. I don't. So okay, I found the error. So my phone wasn't connecting because I had not plugged the whole USB part. That's why it's giving this local area network, because my phone is on 5G, the mobile network, and this is on the Wi-Fi. And for some reason, my hotel only allows one Wi-Fi. So I'm glad I got a very nice 5G plan, because I cannot go and complain for the Wi-Fi. I can, but I do not want to, because otherwise the hotel is pretty good. Uh, so the phone is connected, it's working. I will switch it off so you can directly see it in the iPhone mirroring now. So sleep, the nutrition part, we are going to log. So I want to show what it is right now. So if I have to say, if I have to type here, triple ham cheese sandwich, it was one serving. I will call it a breakfast, yeah. And then the calories around, how much is it? 406. Protein is around, I'll round it off to 22. This is 50. This is 23. Add food log. Okay, this is done. Then sausage cheese sandwich, which is around 406, 17, 44, and 23. So this is what I did, and what I want next is that when I click on the log food, just after writing the name, it does whatever I did here. Like it does a web search, gets me the approximate values, and it pre-fills the calories, protein, carbs, and fat. And uh, this is the exact format I want, and each web search I can do it with different services out there. One of them is Xcode, that I saw that they released a new very fast API, which is I think 300 or 400 milliseconds. Then there's this Tawili web search that I like, I have been using it. And there's this Firecrawl as well. These are, Firecrawl just scrapes the data and gives you back as the summary. And do you think the meal type selector will be better as a segmented control? That's a very good question that I actually was thinking of. This whole, I don't know what other even means here. Let me just ask, why did it even put an other option? Like what else is another option? So in the manual food entry, there is the meal type. What does other even mean? So the thing about not having it as a segmented control is because of accessibility, especially dynamic type. Because if I have the word breakfast here, lunch, dinner, and snack, they will easily, on the 16 Pro Max it's okay, but as I increase the font size, especially on a 16e, they will truncate, and I do not want that truncated experience. uh, so this is the reason I chose this menu or picker menu. And I'm not this is the native one in iOS 26, and I'm not a fan of this jumping around here and there. uh, but why is it even needed? So it says the common use cases of other is a late night snack, after dinner but before bed, but that's a snack. Pre-post workout nutrition, okay, that makes sense. Then beverages, beverages is something that does not go in the snack. If I'm just having, let's say, a protein shake, which is a good argument there. And then the intermittent fasting scenarios where the timing does not match traditional means, which I sometimes do as well. So I will have my lunch or breakfast plus lunch or brunch at 12 and then have a meal at 5, and that's it. I call it a day. I will just let the user control how many of what meal types you have. So my fitness pal lets you add custom ones, I think. Are you sure on that? If Yash says that he's sure that there are other competitors that do have custom ones, then I would want to have that as an option, definitely. But then I have to add an option to select these pretty emojis as well, or I can just have foundation model do that for me. Just suggest emoji for it, and that's actually a good use case, and a lot of people are doing that, especially a lot of the to-do planners app can use that foundation model use case to get uh, based on the entry that they make, they will suggest emoji, so it's much nicer versus doing it on their own. So I can do it without the emojis, but then it will look odd, and or I can just have, so let uh, tell me what emoji am I using for other here, because I'm not sure what the code is. So if I go to the mean timeline section, um, there should be some meal type enum somewhere, this one. So other has a circle dot fill. Okay, circle dot fill works for me. I can use it directly. So what will it take? Will it take to add custom types to the app? Like the user can define their own types. My idea is that I will have something in the user defaults and then use that type when I'm logging it in the health kit data. So you can see, so let's go through the thinking process. The user wants to add the custom meal types. We need to have some data model changes. We need to store the custom meal types in user defaults, like what I said. Need to change the meal type from enum to either struct or make it extend. Need to handle both the built-in and custom types. For the UI change, add a way to create or edit meal types. Show custom types in meal type picker. Allow editing or deleting the custom types. Need to handle existing data. Built-in type should probably stay as defaults. Yes. Storage, that will need the name, icon and colors. Need to be stored persistently and need to be synced across widgets as well, which is a good point because the widgets also have an option, especially when you show the I don't know, where is it in the quick food option? I think that's where the part is. So it gives me the cleanest approach that create a meal category model that can represent both the built-in one and the custom one. Create a meal type manager, update all UI to use the manager, and okay, so we will have the meal type category and then the built-in categories that uses this. Okay, and then the meal type manager. In my opinion, just use an enum that has breakfast, lunch, because not every users will use a custom one. Because what I'm getting this solution, it feels a lot over engineered, so I do not want to create another one. Can you not just use meal type with custom enum option. Custom, I think it's called as associated enum values. So right now it's a normal one, but then I will go to the custom one. So it's like brilliant. That's a much simpler and cleaner approach. You're absolutely right. Of course, Yash is always right. So we can use the associated model. This keeps the existing enum structure, and then we have, instead of using other, we are using a custom one. The raw value will be the, where is it? I really need to have get this out of the view, and then we are directly encoding and decoding the value from having that custom name, and then we use the all cases, because now we need to have the case iterable using this and return the values. And what's the next process? And how will the user add the custom type? Can you please do it in the settings? I also made myself some coffee so I do not sleep in between the stream. I think that the black coffee has 0 calories, so this is something I do not have to log. I can log an empty log, but I'm not a fan of doing that. I don't know if you do that. This is another thing that I was thinking the other day when I was having my creatine, that should I log the 6 grams of creatine, because if you see the nutritional facts, everything is 0. So should I log an empty calories or not? Black coffee is 100 invisible calories. Why is it invisible? There's no calories. So it has created a custom meals type view. Let's see how the custom meals type view look like. One thing that I have done in the rules file is that it will always create this hashtag preview, and it will always create the previewable state variable and then pass it as well. And now let me update the meal type to support the custom case with proper codable implementation. And it's showing the custom meal types. So I think there are some errors that we need to solve. Meal type does not have a member other. So I'll just add all the errors. I really am not in a mood to code today. I'm sorry if you're expecting me to be a coder who would want to write all of these on my own, because I definitely do not want to do that. So one thing, wait, in the nutrition vision model, why is it always parsing as snack? That's not a good thing. So because I'm working on this directly, there should be this I need to take it out of can you please move the meal type in the custom type manager file itself? And in the meanwhile, I'll build the project to see if there are any more errors. The build failed, but on the top you see that there are 0 errors, so I don't know what the error is. Okay, now I can feel the error. Cannot find it in scope. The reason is that I have to make it available for the widget extension as well. Now it should work. I can hear the fan of my MacBook, even though I'm not using anything competitively. So if I go into the activity monitor, there's a kernel task of 63% CPU usage. Also, why Xcode in light mode? Okay, I'll listen to you. Oops. This is much nicer. The reason I do Xcode in light mode is that it kind of makes me much more awake. Like looking at the black screen versus looking at the white screen, I feel like I'm much more awake when I'm doing it. I feel like I'm more productive, to be honest. I'm not a f- I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of dark mode. It's just that I prefer light mode when I'm working on something and I want to get the work done. So let's say there were so many errors that it so the errors are still there. This is a problem because I think the problem is here. If I see the diff viewer, it did not make the changes, especially as the file grows longer. So if you are using the any of the AI tools, they will the likelihood of them at a point be not be able to do the diffing is mostly because the file size grows so much that they have to do the probability of it being what do you say. I'll just delete it first before saying anything myself. That's some manual work you have to do in the AI world. The probability of the diffing system, the failure rate will increase as the file size grows, because this file was almost 700. Okay, it was 600 and I drew 100 lines, so it was 700 lines. So try to keep your files maybe 300 to 400, and it will work across. It will work faster and it will work much better around Cursor, Cloud Code, or Alex Sidebar. I have tried it multiple times and I can always come to the conclusion that it is just much easier to do that. So let's go and see this new custom meal type, or the custom screen that it made, and how it looks like. In where was it? This one. Oh, I think a bit above this one. I'm not sure how the view looks like, or will it be very similar to what we have. I am assuming, because it is using the theme manager. So while it is loading, let's go and see what we can do in the manual food entry cases. So there are some alternatives that I thought. One was using the USDA, if I'm pronouncing it right. So let's open this link first that uh, somebody shared with me. Why is it not working? It's x.com. Sounds like a corn site. So one thing that, if you have been following me on Twitter, you will see that the corn site actually paid me with 1,100 dollars, so that my whole trip for my whole Japan trip is my whole Bangkok trip is covered, and thanks to shit posting on Twitter. I'm very happy with that. So why were we on? So I wanted to see one of the mentions, because somebody mentioned this link that do they not have nutrition labels. So to give you a context, I went to the 7-Eleven and I wanted onigiri. This was something that I would have every single day in Japan, Osaka, Kyoto, Tokyo, everywhere. And I never cared about the calories there, and that was the reason I went from 84 kgs to 90 kgs in like 1 month, because I was eating without thinking, and the food was worth it. I don't regret it at all, but I cannot get myself back to 84 from being 90 or 91 that I am right now. So this was the reason I started initially working on Zenther, so I can track the calories and know how much am I eating. And then I realized when I was at home, I was easily eating 2,500 to 3,000 calories, and that was the reason. And I don't even know how much I was eating in Japan, easily 4,000 maybe. Even though I was walking 30,000 or 20,000 steps a day, that was just not enough to cover up for the surplus amount of calories that I was eating. And the weight loss is usually the deficit when it comes to the pure numbers or the maths. The calorie in, calorie out, the calorie in was double the calories out, so it made sense that I gained so much of weight. With that context, I was using this very famous app called as Cal AI, and I was asking it directly with the image that tell me the macros. And before doing that, did the barcode scan, because of course I do not want it to ask and the direct values. And the barcode scan for Cal AI did not work. It says it could not find it, and that's why I used the AI feature. And then Vishrut said that do they not have nutrition labels there, and this was the link that I wanted to read more about. So now that we're on the stream, we will read it together. And bro, even your Twitter is in light mode. Yes. So how to understand and use the nutrition label? People look at food labels for a variety of reasons, but whatever the reason, many consumers would like to know how to use the more information. Okay. Yes, so in India, or I think everywhere, this is what you usually have. You have the nutrition facts, the number of servings, the amount per serving. With the calories, you have the, in India, it usually starts with the I think the carbs first, or the protein, then carbs, then proteins, then the sugar, then total fat, and then the cholesterol and sodium. And we'll mention the serving information, how much it is, 1 cup or the grams. It is not a recommendation how much you eat. Thank you for telling me, because on the small Oreo packet it says that serving size is 16, but I would just have the whole packet. So that's definitely not the recommendation. So you might ask yourself if you're consuming half serving, and I think in this it's the amount per serving. In India, we usually have. I don't know if it's the same in different countries, but what I've seen is that you will have the nutrition fact mostly mentioned for amount per 100 gram, and then on the side there will also optional amount per serving, and then the daily values. And one amount of serving is 1 cup calories, 2 servings of lasagna. The calories are mentioned. So what if you eat the entire package, that you would consume 4 servings or 1100 calories? Yeah, to achieve maintain a healthy body weight, the average number is usually 2000 calories a day as a general advice. It may be lower, or so you create, okay, so this estimate as well. So this is something I want to add in the app as well. I already have it in the app. I have a whole TDEE, the total daily expenditure calculation. Everything is done. I have a few of the screens that are supposed to be in the onboarding, and based on that you will have the values. This is one feedback that Yash mentioned, that the calories, the carbs, the protein, and the fat are hard coded. They are actually not supposed to be hard coded, and I'm not proud of shipping that directly on the App Store with the hard coded values, because of course you will need higher and lower than the average value that is the general guidelines. Eating too many calories per day is linked to overweight. I can tell you that from experience. Nutrients on the sample levels, nutrients to get less of: saturated fat, sodium, added sugars. Yes, this is something that you should get less of. What are added sugars and total sugar? So in sugar and milk are added sugars that are present, and sweeteners are added sugars. And then nutrients to get more of: the dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. Then the percentage daily value, it gives you an idea based on the 200%. The daily does not add vertically because it's a percentage of the daily value for each nutrient, which makes sense. So general guideline says 5% is low, 20% is considered high. and I don't think you'll find anything 20%. I think the whey protein should be more than 20% if you have a goal of 100 grams and then you see 24 mentioned on the packet. Okay, then that's it. The upper limit, eat less; lower limit, eat at least. There are dual columns. Okay, they mentioned the dual columns. They give an example of per serving and the per container. Then the single ingredient sugar labels, which only mention the total sugar and not the added sugar. Okay, that's it. So this is what I have done. For if I go back to the app, I have this option called as the nutrition label. So what it does is you can take a picture of this nutrition facts. I should say nutrition facts instead, and then it will use the new recognize table option, and then it will cut this into a table, create a table kind of view, and then I pass that into the foundation model, and then it passes the value back to me. If that fails, because I have seen it fail multiple times, then it will use the text recognition from the vision framework and then directly give the text. So it will just say amount per serving calorie 60, and not even the next line, total fat 0%. Or so the foundation model is smart enough to parse that, but it's not good enough, or it's not great working with maths or logic. So sometimes it will confuse the serving size and it will just output the value for 100. That was the reason I added. If you have used the app, you will see that there's this, after you scan something, you will see amount per serving screen, that you can change by if the foundation model made some mistake. But the ideal way would be that it never makes a mistake. So what you see from the nutrition label, if you can somehow even mention that okay, I only had one serving, then it never makes a mistake in the response that I get in the pre-filled UI. So that is what I'm achieving for, because that would be the most frictionless and ideal way of using the app. Because sometimes when I do the scan barcode, I'm using the free open food facts API, and especially on the Indian foods or even in the Thai foods, you won't find all of the data, versus if you're living in America, you will find a lot of the data, or even in Europe, because I think Open Food Facts is a French company, if I'm not wrong. So, yeah. So where were we? We go back to the app. We were working on the custom meal types. So the custom meal types view does not use a similar UI to what I want. Can you please look at setting? Think manual. And to see what to see the design type. So one thing that I have been lazy about is updating the alex.md file. This is the file that I use for the cursor rules, or like not the cursor rules, the Alex rules, similar to cursor rules or the Claude code rules, or the Claude.md file. The idea is that you will want to onboard the AI tool that you're using easily, so I do not have to do this every single time of mentioning how you use the backgrounds and the buttons. And then it will update the theme colors and the action buttons for the primary actions and so on. So I do not have to do that every single time I'm creating a new view. And as Yash mentioned, use multiple data sources, because open food facts is great, but it is still open source, and it depends mostly, if not 100%, on the data that they get from the community itself. And the APIs that I found out there are so expensive, I just cannot afford them, especially when I have a zero MRR on this app. So that is a thing that I wouldn't want to do in the first place, working with different APIs. That's why I wanted to use the uh, route of using the scrapping the web, to be honest. Yeah, so this is much nicer. You see that it does not look nice because the app is not meant for being used for in light mode, and it's ironic that I was using Xcode in light mode. The whole app is meant to use in dark mode, so this is how it will look, and this looks pretty nice to me. So I am very happy with this implementation. I will just use it just to be sure that it is working. So let me build it on my phone itself, and then I will create a new midnight snacking option, which is what I did, or past midnight snacking. So I don't want to create that option because I'm not proud of it. So I will add a option called as workout, which means I had my whey protein. So that gives it a more distinguished, because it's not a snack, it does not come under breakfast or lunch or dinner as well. So even both pre-workout and both work post-workout will come under that. So let's see, the app is opening. Create an extra calorie that I don't need but I eat anyway. I am not sure if my app will support that long of a custom meal type name. So we go on settings. Where did it? Okay, the custom meal types. I add a meal type. I will call it workout. It's been added. It looks very nice. Then I go back. Then I log a food. And I see workout. Yeah, it works. So this is the first feature that I have built in a stream, and I'm very happy that even if it's a small thing, it works. So I'm very happy with that. And I to be very sure, I would go back, create on manage custom types. I will delete it just to see that it works, but it did not. So I have gotten index out of range. Thank you, Alex. I'm glad I did not commit that. On this line, which is, what line is it? Line 141 of the custom meal types view. After I tried deleting an item. So this is what we call as the vibe debugging, and it sucks. I hate this, especially because I haven't read through the code and what's happening. So instead of being proud of it, I will just go through the code to understand how this works. So the idea is that it changed the for each from using the indices. We are directly using the custom meal types, and instead of using the custom meal types at a particular index, we use the meal type name, because all of this it's very fragile, and using the index is something that was felt more UI kit kind of way to do, and I'm not a fan of using the indices at all when it comes to working with Swift UI. So while the build is going on, we'll go through the custom meal type manager just to know what we have. So we have a shared singleton. I'm sorry, all the singleton hating folks. I do not have a problem with that. I can write an instance to test it and write test, but it's a small thing that I could have tested it and not be in that position of where it crashes, but okay. So we have what do you have? We have the custom meal types. We load the meal types. We add the custom meal type, trim the characters, and save the custom meal types. Remove them and then save again, then edit and save again. And save is user default.set and custom meal types for the key. So just to be sure, the user defaults that we are using, it's the standard one. Can you be sure that should we be using the standard user defaults? Because I'm not using it anywhere in the widgets, so it's okay. But still, I would prefer to use, because I would prefer to use the app group of widgets instead. So let's go back to the app. We go to the custom meal types and create workout. We add it, go back, go to the nutrition, log food. We see that we have workout, it works. Then go back to custom meal types, we delete it, it deletes. We create workout again, we try to edit it and say workouts, it works. I call it back as workout and then just save, and then I will build again just to make sure that it's not a single instance that it is and it's actually saving somewhere. But I think now it will have changed because I'm using the suite name. Why would I even want to have why would I have to import widget kit? Also, what happens if you create a standard type, log a food with it, then delete the type? I think what I would prefer is what I would prefer for the custom meal types is that if somebody had logged something, it goes with the type itself. But let me be sure of this. So I have the late night one, and then I had a cookie. Where is it? Let me ask. Can you search for the macros of barista choco mocha cookie from India? So this is something I carried with me, and I had one of it, and I remember the calories were around 483 for a serving of 100 grams. No, it wasn't 200, it was 48 because one whole pack has 10 packets, so it could not find it. So this is the estimated values. So per single gram will be 70 to 95. No, I'm 100% sure it was only 10. So I will log an entry for late night and call it choco mocha cookie. It was one serving, it was around 50. I will take protein as 1, carbs around 15, fat around 4. So when I see this, so what you mentioned was go get the managed types. I delete the managed type, I'll go back because this is still there as late night. So I will try to build the app again just to see if it is working or not. So after I deleted it, it turned into a snack, and I feel like there is so it had it as a snack now. So I think there is some disparity because so you mentioned something about why is it hard coded. So these are the names that are hard coded for the built-in types, to check if it is a built-in type or not, and it just checks for the name. That's why it's hard coded. But what I was more interested in is that this name, the snack name that I'm getting, is it hard coded somewhere? So I would just ask it that the name snack, when we are doing the recent entries row, that value, when we are saving it in health kit, Is that hard coded? How are you fetching it? Uh, think it's health kit plus nutrition file. The default is a snack one. Perfect. So the meal type is not directly saved. Looking at the save, it only saves the nutrition values but not the meal type itself. So okay, so it determines the meal type based on the time of the day and not. So this is a very bad way of doing it. So this is one thing that Yash mentioned, is that I'm heavily dependent on HealthKit, and I do not have my own database layer, not even a what do you say, not even a Swift data or GRDB database layer. So I'm directly fetching the data and showing it from HealthKit. So if you remove the values in HealthKit, it will also remove from my app and vice versa. So when you add a custom meal type like dot custom, then the value will get ignored of the original meal type and it infers from the timestamp, which is not what I want. So one thing in HealthKit is that you can do uh, HealthKit metadata. So there's HK metadata key that you can do. So I can do a Zenther meal type and then meal type dot raw value, and the second option is don't rely for on HealthKit for meal type, and then only sync the nutrition values. I think I would for now just go with the first option because I do not want to have the whole database layer in this stream. Go with the option 1 and just have the meal type dot raw value. Because I also added the name and the food name as a metadata key, because earlier even if you added a food name, it would what do you say, rename it, because somebody mentioned that they were actually using the app and they were naming it, and when they saw it in the recent entries the name was gone, which is of course very annoying, and I'm again not proud of that. But now the app is much more nicer in that way because you can have the names with the metadata and the type from now onwards. I don't think there's a way to go back and name them because I do not have the idea. But at least it's taking the name of the type from the time. So with that, I think I'm happy with this feature and I will commit it directly just after I see that the build succeeds, because I feel like I've spent too much time working on this. Yeah, I cannot directly commit this. Now, what's the second thing that I have to do on this app? This function. So I have an option of using analyze with AI for the food name, and then it gives me the nutritional value on its own. I already did an implementation that used the USDA nutrition food base, but I wasn't happy with it. But yeah, there's so much to do, but now I'm getting impatient and I do not have the energy to continue doing the stream, and I do not want to make it boring as well because I can feel that I'm sleepy now because I haven't slept much. I slept at around 11 and then I woke up at 1. So this is one thing that I have to work on in the next stream, which is to fix this, and it's not taking the top 90. So this feels like an actual easy thing to do. So 1 hour and 2 more to go. I thought I would do a 3 hour stream, but I'm so sleepy. And if I'm going for a run tomorrow morning or today morning in 2 hours, I should get some sleep. So I will do two quick things. Is that in the main workout view, you have the workout activity and the daily steps. Can you see what days it is fetching the data for, and why is, and it should be 90 days, but it does not feel like it. And another thing that I really quickly wanted to add, and I have been thinking about, is that because I'm now in Bangkok and my calories burned has gone much more than it was when I was just rotting myself at home. It's yesterday it was around 970. Day before it was 970. Yesterday it was, I think, 630 or 700. So I would want a similar chart that is for calories burnt, where I say less is more as well. So that should be a very quick thing to do, and I would just ask it to do that. So it says that for workouts it currently using the 90 days. For steps data it also uses 90 days, but both are uh, correctly figured to fetch 90 days. I can see that both figures, however, there are potential issues. Inconsistence, it uses the limits, and then so I will just say that, so workouts uses strict end date, and this, so I will say that for some reason it when the month changed from July end to August, it did only for 2 months instead of earlier 3 months. And then I'm hoping that it tells me the potential issues. So it's like, this is a common issue with calendar based heat maps that focuses on month boundaries. Let me examine. So it says it found the issues. Got it. So it the generic heat map does 3 months from now, which includes the current date and value -2. So it is actually showing it for August, July, and June, but it should show May as well. So you're only seeing August data instead of the full 90-day range. So it did calendar adding 89 days. So now we are doing calendar days instead of months, so that we have the actual dates. This is not something I thought of when I was working on it. So now the display is a rolling window. Amazing. So let's, before I work on the active calories, I will just build and see if it is now working well or not. But in the meanwhile, I will just type out the prompt for the next one. So amazing. Yeah. I also want a daily calories chart. Can you please do that for me in a similar fashion? So not gonna lie, I feel like the heat map is taking up a lot of space on the screen. Maybe make it smaller, have two side by side. Two side by side will be too crammed, to be honest. What I would want is give the users the option to have it have whatever that they want. So on the top, so I will do that as well right now. So what I would want them to have is that uh, okay, what I would want them to have is that there would be an option to filter out what activities that they want, because my friend, the one who actually suggested me this heat map thing, he did not because he has an old watch, so he does not record the workout activity so that his watch can last for 24 hours. But he would want to have the daily steps in, which is with like easily 7 to 8 or 10,000 a day, and that's why he wanted this very pretty daily steps chart. But the his whole workout activity graph was like in 3 months only one single thing, so that's why he wanted that. And just use text summary for accessibility, since heat map is purely visual. I would want the user to have the choice of having the heat map there or not at all, because I find it pretty, and I would want, and I feel a lot of people find it pretty as well. So there can be a lot of customizability that I can add in this view. So while it is, I'll just commit this new thing. So this is one thing I like about Alex, the Sonnet 4 model. So first, let me check if there's already a calorie data model, and then it will see the existing health kit services and calorie data, and then it will find the different files. Let me check the calorie data tracking, because I already have the calorie data which I was taking for creating the streaks. And then it will check the widget data provider. So it says I need to create a calorie data model and add the daily calorie fetching. So are you sure we are not fetching calories burned anywhere? Because I think I was using it in the first version back exactly a month from now. When are you adding in-app workout tracking? In-app workout tracking has so many edge cases, but if that is something that I've been asked to do by many people and important people, if I have to say that way. And another feature request that I got was having an Apple Watch app. So yes, by chance, if any chance you use an Apple Watch, even just for normal logging or the widgets that I can have them directly on Watch. I do not even have to write any code. So if it is something that you can help me test with, let me know, because I have a Garmin and I just cannot test it. But okay, he does not have a watch. Okay, but what my the Apple developer folks told me, that a lot of the developers who did release for watch did not had a watch, and they just did the testing on the simulator itself. So that is something really cool, and I can think of that way. But I feel like that's being uh, maybe next week or next to next week, but not now. But I have to wrap it by August 18th, so I have 2 weeks. So I do want to have the watch app, but not this next week, maybe next to next week. I would want to get the new watch for testing. My plan is to take all the money that I make this month, if I make a good amount of money from this app, and then directly buy a watch for testing purpose. So it has created a generic heat map. It has a lot of code, and it fetches the calorie, and then it also created a preview for me. And then let's see. If it has been able to one shot everything, I would be very happy, because it already had a lot of code. So it cannot find the calorie data. I know the reason for this, because the calorie data is supposed to be added as a target for the widget extension as well. So it is using the calorie goal progress as the 500 calories as a reasonable daily active goal. So if you have the calories more than that, so this is the intensity graph that I use. So it's like if it's 0 to 50, then 0.05, otherwise 50 to 150 is zero point 0.2, then 3.5, and then if it is 700 to 1000, then 0.8, and if you have done 1000 calories a day, then it uses 1. And this is actually exactly what I wanted. So I have no idea how it read my brain, or it's the very common thing that the model could come up with. So let's see how the app looks like. So we have workout activity, we have daily steps, and now we have the active calories burned. So you can see I burned 886 calories, and then on this today I burned 0, and then yesterday 183. It's actually not 183, it's just that my app Garmin, I have to manually update and click on the refresh button to do that. And this looks like a day on July 26th. I burned 1126. I know the reason why I burned so many calories, because I had the finals of the hackathon and I was so stressed that my heart rate, like my watch would just not stop telling me that I was uh, using I was it would always say that I had an abnormal heart rate detected, and it was counting it as calories burned. So this is the reason I had so many calories on this day. So in one of the code somewhere, Yash saw that the catch block is unreachable. Yeah, I agree. This one, right? I'm not happy with the code base. I would have to sit one day and just refactor it and show you how I'm refactoring it. That would be a whole 1 hour separate stream, and I would be happy if I get that done pretty fast. And I see that I have more localizable XC strings as well. So it is almost 5. I can get around 1.5 hours of sleep if I go directly after this. So I will try it and see if I can get the last feature working of giving the users I would giving the users the option to select if they even want the charts or not. So I would want to have the users vibe coding equal to 1 hour. Yeah, that will require one entire day of stream. I would want to have the users the option to uh, customize the heat map that they want or don't want at all. So in the top trailing toolbar, do add a menu that has the list of all of all the heat maps that they can select or not, and make sure that they are saved in user defaults for persistence, and based on the values show them in the main view, and the user can check mark all of them or none of them as well. I think that's a good prompt, and that should be able to it should be able to do one shot on this, so I do not have to work much on this. So let's see what we get from the Sonnet 4. So it will create a heat map reference and add the customization view. So in the meanwhile, we'll go through the app and see if there's something else that we can see for the next stream. So one thing that I worked on today was fixing this view, where I added this zoom transition API. It transitions from this, and kind of like it a lot. Uh, and then we have the history view that gives me the history. I'm actually not sure why would I use this app versus the fitness app itself, and that's a question that I've been asking myself. Like, what extra value am I providing to the user that they would ditch the main app that they have been using? Like, I'm competing for their time, energy, and the exhaustion that it will take from switching from some other app to this app. So what value am I providing? And it's the same with the health app. Like, I do not like the health app at all, and that was one of the reasons I added the macro tracking and the sleep tracking, because I do not want to use that app and just use my app forever. So it's like Sherlocking Apple, anti-Sherlocking. It's like a reverse Unicode. So it has added a Z stack, and it shows the patches number of the enabled ones. I don't think I would want this of the options that we have. So let's go back and see what other changes is made. So it says the heat map present is enabled and is doing dot workouts. Okay, then we have the quick actions. Okay, let's just try to directly build the app and see. So reading through the code, what it did. So you can tap the chart icon on the top right to open the heat map. You can enable and disable the individual heat maps. Quick toggle all to enable all or disable all. Oh, nice. That's a nice way of thinking. I was even thinking that the user will have to manually do it. And then automatic persistence using user defaults, and then visual feedback. The toolbar icon shows the number of uh, enabled heat maps and when not enabled at all. And AI really loves the rocket emoji. Oh, definitely it does. The available heat maps are sleep hours, ready when you want to add the sleep data. Okay, so we have this button on the top right. I can say disable all. Nice. So it works. It works. It works better than I expected, but when I click on this, I do not have. Uh, first, I need to appreciate. I really appreciate your efforts here. Thank you. So in the menu, I do not see a way to understand which one is actually enabled or there, like a check mark, and get rid of the what is it, the patch of number of enabled heat maps. Saying please and thank you to the AI is mandatory to make sure the singularity does not come for me. I agree. There are times where I have been an asshole to AI and then it haunts me in my sleep. I don't even remember the last Terminator movie I watched, but yeah, I don't want to be in that situation anymore. So it uh, have the image name, so it shows the clear check mark. Each has a filled circle with check mark enabled or an empty circle. I don't think this is what I want. I actually want a separate check mark. I don't see any check marks. Mark. I don't want it combined with a circle, and I don't even see a circle anywhere in the screen. Do you see a circle? No heat map selected. So if I enable all of them, yeah, I don't see any way to understand. Which circle are we even talking about? So this is somewhere, just to be sure, where is this? Xcode has crashed on me, and I think that's the end of the stream, to be honest. I do not want to open it again. I think everything has stopped on me. Let me see if I can. Okay. At least the Alex Sidebar is working. Now it has also stopped working. So all I see is a rainbow icon. So this is the indication that I should go back to get some sleep, and I hope you enjoyed and got some value out of it. And if you did, please let me know, so that, and if you have some constructive criticism on how I can improve my streams, I'm also all ears on that as well. So with that, I need to find the button to close the stream again, and let's this commit. Yeah, so I got it to commit, and then yeah, thank you so much for being here, and yeah, all the congratulatory stuff that I have to mandatorily say. Okay, thank you.